So we've all seen the story of Frankenstein. Will this be something new? So we're here at Brennan Theaters watching Victor Frankenstein. This movie is a retelling of the story that we've all heard a million times. What they tried to do was they tried to add little pieces to make it more of a fuller story. They wanted to modernize it, so to say, and take the concepts of, Frankenstein making life and add in some side stories and some interweaved concepts so that it's more than just the basic story. Whether they pulled that off, that's the question right there. I feel that in some of their stories they did, in some of their plot points it worked. I do believe in some of their plot points it didn't. But I will say it was kind of a 50-50 hit or miss. They definitely added enough to the movie to make it feel like it was a full story instead of just the baseline concept of Frankenstein. They added enough side stories and enough twists and turns for you to feel like it was, a full ride from beginning to end. But not all of them were home runs. Now, the characters themselves, I think they did an excellent job. Both McAvoy and Radcliffe both did amazing jobs. McAvoy's just pure mad scientist aspect of what he brought to Victor Frankenstein was very poignant. It was over the top, and I feel that was what they were going for. The quote-unquote mad scientist, Daniel Radcliffe's character, Igor, was more of the vulnerable character. So when you put them both together, you kind of have this dynamic duo of sorts. I do believe that both of their characters are believable. The third star of the show, so to say, the gentleman that plays the inspector, did an excellent job. I always forget what his name is, but he is the gentleman that plays Moriarty in Sherlock. He is an excellent actor. The three of them together were a good dynamic. I thought they did a really good job. When it comes to going to see this movie over another movie, I have to say this is definitely a rental. This isn't something that really necessarily needs the big screen in order to see it. It has some pacing issues at certain points that make it kind of hard to sit through a theater for it, but I do believe it's worth watching. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what I give this movie would actually be a 7. It's worth the watch. Don't expect it to be a perfect Frankenstein story. Expect it to be a different take on what you're used to, but it's definitely worth the watch. Just rent it. Don't hit the theaters for it. So let's see what our other mad scientists have to say. So, Victor Frankenstein, what'd you think?
I felt at first this movie was very slow and it dragged, and it got almost to the point where I was kind of like, okay, I don't think I'm going to make it through the movie. But then it started to get a little better, and it started getting more of what I was looking for in the Frankenstein movie.
I haven't watched any other Frankenstein movies in the past. I do understand the basic concept of the film, so I kind of knew what to expect. I expected the story to be a little wacky out there, a little exaggerated, a little bit over the top. They could have easily made this more of a dark black comedy if they wanted to, and I probably would have enjoyed it even more.
Probably not my favorite Frankenstein, but it's up there because the other ones weren't all that great either. This one's definitely a different take on it, and that's one thing I did like, is it was a different take on it, and it's a different point of view of the whole situation that happened. And the way that all happened, it was different. So I enjoyed that part.
James McAvoy, Daniel Radcliffe gave a really good performance. You got Harry Potter and Professor Xavier trying to create life. Well, what's better than that with those two actors? They couldn't have picked a better choice for those two. I'm not really familiar with all the other actors, except you mentioned the cop or the inspector plays Moriarty in Sherlock. I have not seen that. Is that the BBC version?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, but I'd like to. That's one with the Benedict Cumberbatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Definitely got to check that out.
Definitely not one of those movies I would go see in the theaters. Definitely something I'd watch at home. Mainly because it dragged on. It was something I want to be able to relax for more than just sitting there kind of hoping I get into the movie.
Except the Frankenstein guy reminded me of the alien in the movie Prometheus. It looked a lot like it, actually. And the head wasn't as flat as I thought it'd be. No black hair. I mean, it's hairless. Obviously, it hadn't hit puberty yet. But then again, who knows where the body parts came from, really?
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this on 1?
I'm going to give it a 6.
I don't see too many movies like this, but as far as how I was entertained, I give it a 7.85.
It didn't hook me the whole time, and it was really hard to sit through it at first.
The reason why I don't give it a 7.86 is because it did have pacing issues. So that 0.1%, Look forward to seeing James McAvoy in X-Men Apocalypse coming this spring.
So we're curious, what is your favorite monster movie? Whether it be Frankenstein, whether it be Dracula, whether it be The Mummy, what's your favorite? Please let us know in the comment section below, and if you haven't yet already, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more movie reviews every week. And as always, we're letting you know before you go at Brennan Theaters.